Okay, so we hear it all the time, right? AI is completely revolutionizing the world of finance. But is it really? Today, we're going to cut through all that hype to see what's actually changing about how our money is managed, audited, and invested.
And we're talking about a staggering amount of money. Just look at this number, $5 billion. That's what just one firm, KPMG, has promised to invest in AI in the next 5 years. And trust me, they are not alone. Billions and billions are being poured into this tech transformation all across the industry.
So that brings us to the real question here, doesn't it? With all this cash flooding into AI, is it making our financial system fundamentally better, or is it just making it faster and cheaper? As we're about to see, the answer is, well, it's probably not what you're thinking. To really get what's going on, we have to start with the grand promise. The almost utopian vision of what AI could do in the financial world.
I mean, the vision they're selling is pretty incredible, isn't it? A world with basically zero financial fraud. A world where your credit score is perfectly fair with no bias. Where financial reports are crystal clear and happen in real time. Where absolutely everyone has access to affordable financial services. It's a really powerful and compelling picture.
But now, let's bring it back down to earth. Let's get real. To see what's actually happening, we can zoom in on one critical piece of the financial system, the audit. And what researchers have found here is, wow, it's pretty eye-opening. You see, the first and biggest use of AI and other tech in auditing isn't about uncovering some deep, hidden scandal. Nope, it's about automation. It's about taking all those routine, predictable tasks, the stuff junior accountants used to spend hours and hours on, and just handing them over to a piece of software.
This is just a classic move, economically speaking. It's called the substitution effect. And it's really simple. When people get too expensive, companies swap them out for cheaper technology. The main goal here isn't to get a better audit, it's to get a cheaper one, period.
So this, of course, leads to the multi-billion-dollar question, right? If you're swapping people for algorithms just to save a buck, does that actually make the audit any more effective? Is it any better at catching mistakes or, outright fraud? And the answer that researchers found is, honestly, it's staggering. A huge study using actual regulatory data found a loud and clear no. There was literally no statistical link between a team's use of technology and the actual quality of their audit. Yeah, the tech made things cheaper, but it didn't make them better. Now, this finding in the world of auditing, it really reflects a much bigger theme playing out across the entire financial industry. The whole story of AI in finance is one of a massive trade-off. You've heard the phrase a double-edged sword, right? Well, that is AI in finance to a T. For every incredible opportunity it creates, it also introduces a pretty significant and often really complex challenge that we all have to grapple with. On the one hand, you just can't deny the potential. It is huge. AI models are getting ridiculously good at spotting sophisticated fraud. They can boost financial inclusion by offering services to communities that have been left behind. And in the world of sustainable investing, AI can even help sniff out corporate greenwashing by digging through mountains of data to see if a company's environmental claims are for real. But, and this is a big but, the risks are just as real. The data we use to train these AI models can be filled with historical biases, which can lead to really unfair outcomes in things like loan applications. Many of these super complex AI models are black boxes, which means even their own creators can't fully explain how they reached a decision. And all of this is happening in a world with massive data privacy risks and a regulatory rulebook that is desperately trying to catch up. So this all raises a really interesting question. If the tech's link to being effective is unproven, and it's loaded with all these challenges, why are firms still investing billions? Well, the answer might not be in the technology itself, but in the story of the technology. This brings us to this fascinating economic concept called signaling theory. The basic idea is that in a market that's full of imperfect information, companies have to send signals to investors to convince them that they're a good bet. These signals are meant to reduce all that uncertainty and build confidence. And right now, AI is one of the most powerful signals a company can possibly send. Research shows that when a firm simply discloses its AI strategies in its annual report, investors see it as a huge sign of innovation and forward thinking.
And that perception, all by itself, can boost trust, reduce investor uncertainty, and directly lead to better financial performance and a higher valuation, regardless of how effective those AI tools actually are at that moment.
So, after looking at the myth, the reality, and the surprising psychology of it all, what's the ultimate takeaway here? What should we really remember about AI's role in finance?
Well, first, AI is fundamentally a tool for efficiency. Its ability to improve effectiveness isn't a given, it has to be proven. Second, every single step forward with AI has to be balanced against some very real risks. Third, you should never underestimate the power of the narrative. Right now, just talking about AI is a valuable strategy. And finally, the true long-term value of this whole revolution, it's not going to come from the algorithms themselves. It's going to come from our ability to govern them responsibly.
And that leaves us with one final critical question. We are building an incredibly powerful new engine for the global financial system, so we have to ask ourselves, who has their hands on the wheel?